Hello, I'm Daniel, and welcome to my YouTube channel. We here at the channel are continuing in our series of videos with respect to education, inspiration, information, guidance, advice, and I want to continue on with this idea of Avram's servant Eliezer being required to take an oath with respect to finding a proper match for Avram's son Yitzhak. As I said before, when it came to matters of the household, Avram totally relied on Eliezer, totally relied on his servant. He was his trusted servant and his confidant, but only in matters of gashmias, only in matters of physical or material wealth, the mundane matters in life. But when it concerned ruchnias, the spirituality, the spiritual matters, the future of the Jewish people was at stake. Avram didn't simply rely on his okay. He required an oath from Eliezer to ensure that his request would be executed to the letter. Selecting a wife for Yitzhak would determine the course of future generations. The right wife would enhance Yitzhak's spirituality. The wrong one would destroy him and undermine the foundations for the future of his descendants. It was Rav Sholom Schwadron who would give a story with respect, Sholom Schwadron, my apologies, Sholom Schwadron, who gave this analogy, the difference of when something is relatively far from us, we're not personally involved, and when something cuts close. It's the story of Meirka, a little boy by the name of Meir. One day, he was sitting at home in Jerusalem, and suddenly he heard a scream from the alleyway outside his window. A moment later, his Rebbetzin runs into the room, yelling that little Meir, the grandson of the Gabbai, the sexton of the shul, had fallen and was bleeding profusely from a gash over his eye. Those of us who've had children, any head wound bleeds profusely. It is a scary, scary thing. And it just, your heart just stops when you see a child bleeding like that. And so they both run outside, and Rav Sholom scoops up the child. His wife had a wet towel over the cut to stop the bleeding. Rav Sholom begins running with the child in his arms through the alleyway into the main street, trying to find a doctor that would help him. So they rushing up the street, they're going up a hill, and a very pious elderly woman was walking toward them and called out to Rav Sholom, Rav Sholom, is nicht du was zu gehen? She says, there's nothing to worry about. You need not rush. The Eibishter wird helfen. The one above, he'll help the child. He'll take care of things. As soon as Rav Sholom and his wife passed directly in front of the elderly woman, she looks down and realizes that the bleeding child was none other than her own grandson, Meir. The old woman begins to shriek and scream uncontrollably, Gewalt, Meirka, Gewalt! She faints. In his lectures over the years, Rav Sholom Schwadron transformed that scream of Meirka, like an affectionate form of Meir, that Meirka, into a catchword lesson. He would often say, if it's not my Meirka, if it's not my grandchild, if it's not my son, it's easy to say, don't worry. Nothing's wrong, Hashem will help. When it is my Meirka, when it is my grandchild, when it's my son, however, when the problem affects me personally, that's an altogether different story. People act similarly when it comes to their personal issues. For some, the spiritual dimension takes preeminence over everything. For others, regrettably, it does not. When it comes to finding a match for Yitzhak, when it was his own son and the future of the Jewish people, he took that extremely seriously. That's why Avram made the servant, made Eliezer take that oath, because it was so important. It was so close to his heart. We're going to be doing more stories along these lines. Please come back, please watch, please learn. And until next time, I'm Daniel, and thank you too much.